Hi everyone, I'm Scott Schneider. This is Stereo Niche. Hey, this week we're going to talk about the first tuner I've ever covered. All right, so this is the TU-9900 from Sansui. So this model came out along with the professional series from Sansui in 1976, and that included the other integrated amps like the AU-20000, which is one that I own and have reviewed before, and my unit was actually purchased from the original owner with the AU-20000, so that's when I acquired mine. Now in that professional series also included the AU-11000 and the AU-9900. So the TU-9900 is the tuner, the AU is the integrated amps. So that was the series, and all of the units from that series are just stellar. They're incredible units, and they sort of modeled this style in that in that genre. So it has to me a very distinctive look amongst other tuners. Means business. It has a lot of functions here to really get as much as you can out of a tuner. Most tuners are pretty basic. They tune in the AM/FM channel. You may have some meters there to help you tune it in, and typically that's it. But the TU-9900 goes a lot further. It has some functionality here to help you not only tune it in, but also to get ready if you want to record programming from over the air from radio stations. You could do that, and it gives you some functionality for doing the best recording. So it's a stellar unit. It also has performance features, of course, to be able to pull in those stations and lock in those channels. And then when you did get it all tuned in, the quality of the FM sound is just, I hate to say silky, but to me it was very smooth. There are other tuners that I've had, and most people I don't think listen to a lot of tuners, but and I still haven't listened to all that many. There are some folks that are very much into their FM broadcast or radio broadcasts and have experienced a lot of them, and I have quite a few, and of course all the receivers included. But to me, this is, of the units that I've had, one of the best sounding. I've had a couple of a Denon that sounded very good. I've got a Yamaha that sounds very good, but they just don't have the breadth of features, and they just certainly don't have the look. And to me, that's always a part of the enjoyment of it. It has this sort of green backlit tint to it, which I think makes it stand out. And to me, it's just very distinguished looking. The meters are very cool offset here. The glass face, overlighting oversight of the other features here, just makes it stand out, and I think it's just one of the best looking ones. Now, it does take up a little more space. It is a rather full-sized unit that takes up your rack space, but to me it just looks great along with the features. So I'm going to go through some of the features now, give you a little bit of overview of what those features are. There's a lot going on here, and then come back and give you some up-close shots and let you see just how stellar these look. Well, let's run through some of the functionality on the TU-9900. So obviously the power switch, pretty straightforward, on and off. Moving up a bit, output level. So this is when you're going to record broadcasts and you want to help set the output level on your recording side of things, your tape deck most likely, and you can set and adjust that here. Now over to some of the selection buttons. This is the antenna attenuator, and this is actually when you have too strong of a signal, and sometimes that can distort or mess up some of your channel separation. So you can actually set this, and it helps adjust some of that sensitivity. Now on the bandwidth, you can either have wideband or narrow band. And so this comes in when you have sort of tuning things in and you've got too much static. And so you want to be a little more precise. So if it's wide, you have a little bit broader it's a little giving there to being able to fine tune it in. But if you're seeing a lot of, or getting a lot of distortion, you can do that narrowly and be a little more selective on when you're tuning that in. So it narrows that selection of your tuning. Noise cancellation. If you're high filter here, this is sort of sets that off. If you're getting too much static on the high end, you can select this and that helps filter out some of that high end hiss most of the time. Muting is pretty understandable here. You can set that muting in between. If you're going between stations, it'll not have that that hiss in between and the statics, you know, that you're going to get in between stations. The calibration here. This helps when you're setting, if you're getting ready for recording, this can do a tone, and then you can set your recording level on your recording side, on your tape deck, and then you can preset the recording level, and then you turn that off to start recording your programming. Low pass filter cuts off some of the frequencies. You know, on the low pass side, again, it's to help some of that noise interference that you're going to get. And I think it's also set up in this case for some automatic noise reduction that was enabled, and maybe in some of the Sansui gear. Meter selection, I couldn't quite understand exactly how to use this. It was in relation to some of the multipath reflections and things that can deteriorate some of the signal, but I wasn't quite sure how to use this, so I'm not as familiar with this function. So band selection, pretty straightforward. AM, if you want to listen to AM. FM auto is really when you want to listen to FM stereo. It will receive in mono signals through this, but this is typically where you're going to have it in the center selection here. And then in the event you want to listen to mono, you can switch it over and convert it FM broadcast to a mono. Then lastly, of course, your tuning knob, which is what every tuner has, of course, to tune in, and it's extremely smooth, by the way. You've got a nice heavy knob here. It's one of those you can spin it and it just sort of glides across, you know, for some period of distance there, and then you grab it again and keep going, but it's got a very nice weight to it. Well, I think that's pretty much it for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I think it's one of the better tuners out there. I won't try to argue the point too much, but I think it probably falls in a lot of top 5 lists of tuners. Won't be any tuners that I really seek out anymore. I think this is, you know, hits the high point for me for the most part. Can't say that I wouldn't like to find another tuner or two. There's one, I would love to find a Sansui X1. I think it's probably one of the best ever made. I would also love to find the Fisher, I think it's the FM 1000, pretty rare, pretty hard to find. It's a tube unit. We'd just like to say that I, you know, have it in my collection. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I think this would most likely be the peak for me as far as tuners go. Hope you like that. I think it's one that if you are looking for a tuner, it is one I would highly recommend. I think it's quite distinguishes itself amongst other tuners. So if you're in the market for a tuner, I don't think you could go wrong with this one. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. If you don't want to miss the next video, hit subscribe. Of course, if you want to get notified, hit notifications. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in.